All right, everybody, what's going on? Will here. Listen, with everything going on, the Jets again lose today. They're 0-8. They are the worst team in football, no matter how you look at it. And I'm wearing the green and white right now of my team. I am a proud Jet fan, but right now is the way how everything's looking right now. Uh, it's not good. And with everything that's going on with this franchise, it is certainly not good. This is the first time since 1996 that this team is 0-8. The last time was back in 1996. I think everybody's tired of having to talk about this at at this point in time. Adam Gase, 32 of his 42 losses have come by losing games of 10 plus points. Not a good record there. Maybe he's due to be an offensive coordinator somewhere else. Certainly not a head coach again. Sam Darnold, 22 games in a row in which he sacked. Not good. And with everything going on with him, the blame is spread all around, including with him, because he is the starting quarterback of this team. But with context involved here, this offensive line is atrocious outside of Mekhi Becton. With this receiving core, Jeff Smith, I don't know where they picked this guy up from. I know he's from Boston College, but I don't know where they picked him up from. He's been giving up on a couple of routes. Braxton Berrios has been showing up. Denzel Mims has been showing up. I think we might have seen the last of Jamison Crowder at this point in time. This team right now is just an absolute shambles. They are a joke. We all know that. And next week, at least, you know what, before I go on about next week when they play the Patriots on Monday night at MetLife, at least the defense showed up here in the first half. They did. They came up with a couple stops. Yes, everyone wants to talk about the fourth down play. That's credit to Dave Taub. That's not on Eric Bieniemy by any stretch of the imagination. None at all whatsoever. Give credit to the special teams coordinator there for dialing up that play in which there was no awareness on the Jets special teams, and that set up the big play. Now, do I personally think that Dave Taub should be a head coaching candidate instead of Eric Bieniemy? Both are good in their own right, don't get me wrong, but Dave Taub has went out there and he's coached some pretty high names in the special teams game. Devin Hester being one of them. You look at Tyreek Hill being another guy, and he's been doing this his whole time as a special teams coordinator. Special teams, you get to see all three facets: offense, defense, and what's going on whenever you're kicking the ball and such. So I think more people should be looking out to Dave Taub and seeing if he can go out there and get a head coaching position. That's just me personally. Bieniemy, I think, given the constant set of circumstances in which he's had, Patrick Mahomes going out there and having the receiving core in which they've had thus far, and having this runner in Clyde Edwards-Helaire at this point looking good thus far. Le'Veon Bell didn't play so hot. I thought maybe he'd be a little bit of an X factor. Instead, they had him out. Second game back, first game going up against the Jets. Maybe there might have been a little bit of a vendetta there, but no, nothing like that at all. But the tankathon continues nonetheless as the Chiefs pull off the blowout, and, everybody in their right mind had basically the Chiefs winning this game. I had the Chiefs winning this game. But make no mistake about it, this team right now is in shambles. Moving on to next week right now with this team, it's not good. It is not good. And say what you want about the Patriots. They're still the Patriots. I don't care what anybody says. They lost out in a couple of games. Cam Newton, look, he's not his old self. But again, excuse me for 1 second, with everything going on with the New England Patriots, there are a lot of question marks with them. And it's certainly not good. It is certainly not good. So I think this is going to be a close game. I really personally believe that. You're going to see two teams that are fed up with losing, one team more so than the other, and this is going to be a close battle in and out. Now, do I expect the Jets to go out there and pull the upset? Come back to me on Wednesday when we get to see who's going to be on this team, who's not going to be on this team, because the trading deadline is coming up. But make no mistake, This is going to be a close game. And everybody's going to look at Cam Newton trying to find his way. I don't think he's the same old Cam Newton. I think everybody was overhyped or overhyping the stock of Cam Newton coming back in. Again, two weeks of being out of COVID, certainly something that's really, really something that you don't see every day. This Pats defense, they're not really that, they're not playing that hot either. But the offense is just as much in shambles as the Jets are, and they are bad. They are bad. But this team right now, with everything going on, make no mistake about it right now, this team, they're both in shambles. And you're going to see a lot of talk. But for the Jets, and I'm only speaking for the Jets here, it's not good. And from here on out, this might be the closest thing to getting a W that they might get now. Come back to me on Wednesday when everything's going on with everything that's been said. However, with the Jets, they are just done. They're done. And for everybody out there that's going to want to talk about having Quinnen Williams gone, I think he stays. I think there's no way that you're going to trade Quinnen Williams right now. He's been having himself, in his second year, he's been having himself a bounce-back year. Sam Darnold, people are talking about trading him. I think if you're going to go out there and want to compete and go out there and win games, I think personally Sam Darnold stays. Now, things can happen in a span of 48 hours when this trading deadline hits. But again, never take anything out of the realm of possibility. Do I still think he's going to be the starting quarterback at the end of the year? Yes. I think he has a lot to prove still. And like I said last week, my jury's not out on him. My opinion, I still have to see what's going on with this kid. But with everything going on, it's not good. The only guys that you could trade right now at this point in time are Jamison Crowder. I think Crowder's a valuable asset being a slot guy in this league. I think he could definitely help out a team or two and down the stretch that could use a receiver like him. Jordan Jenkins is another guy that could go out there and garner some attention being a pass rushing linebacker. He might not be the best at his position, but he's definitely somebody that could help out in that case. And, another guy too is Henry Anderson, a guy that's been basically playing. He hasn't been playing like his contract's been paying him. I hate to count pockets like that, and I hate to be that guy, but it's definitely not the case. If I expect all three of those guys to go, then I'm expecting all three of those guys to go. Guys like Jeff Smith and Vincent Smith, and if they could try and get something for Chris Herndon right now. I think Chris was a valuable asset 2 years ago in his rookie year, and last season he didn't play that much, and you got to see a lot of Ryan Griffin, and Ryan Griffin got a contract extension that was well-deserved at that point in time, but he hasn't shown up at all, and neither is Trayvon Wesco. So let's call it how it is right now with this team. They are a joke. The position battles right now aren't it. I want to say I'm sure these guys go hard at practice, but right now their record speaks for itself, and it is certainly not a good time to be a Jets fan. And I'm a proud fan. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I post on my Instagram pages about this franchise because I love them. My first game was Week 17 of the 2002 season, Packers-Jets. Picture that. 80,000 fans going nuts when they won that AFC East in 2002. 80,000 fans going bonkers when they found out that the Patriots beat the Dolphins, in which this was it, win or lose. And then they went out the following week and they dismantled the Indianapolis Colts 41-0, right? Flash forward now, 18 years later, and this team and this franchise that I root for, that I love, And I mean that. I love this franchise. They are the epitome of a joke. They are a walking disaster. This head coach is a epic fail of a coach, and I kind of feel bad for him in that sense, but I don't, because he's been, you know, he looks flabbergasted at that point. Whenever you see this guy in the in the press conferences, Sam is the same way. How do you let this kid back into the game when you're down by 20 plus points? How do you do that? Are you kidding? You're face of the franchise right now at this point in time. If everything's going, quote unquote, this is like Mark Sanchez going back into the Snoopy Bowl game back in 2013. How do you let him go back out there after he's just grabbing his arm? How do you do it? If you're Adam Gase, that's fireable. But yet you still let him back in there. It's not like you have a young quarterback in the waiting. And I also understand, the context of the season. It's over. It's done with. But my God. You don't go up to him and you say, hey, Sam, listen, we're down. We've seen enough. Put Joe Flacco in. Run the ball. And that's it. Also, too, Kansas City at that point in time. It's the fourth quarter. I know they put in Matt Moore. Chad Henne, whatever his name is, the backup quarterback for them. Shows me how much I really paid attention today. But they put him in. They put in the backup a little bit too late at that point. Just bench him. Bench him at the beginning of the fourth quarter. No need to take extra shots and such. And to get your franchise QB hurt at that point in time, definitely not the best way to go about it. But they wound up pulling out, and they did it, and it's crazy. So it's as a Jets fan right now, looking forward to next week. This is probably the closest thing that they're going to get to a W. Come back to me on Wednesday, and let's see what happens with all the pieces that are still in play here for Gang Green, and there's a lot of things going on, and we're a train wreck. This franchise is a train wreck right now at this point in time, and hopefully this is the dark, these are the dark times and such, and we get to see this offseason come fast, because it ain't coming fast enough. Talk to you guys on the fly. Be safe out there wherever you may be. And, yeah. Stay safe and always believe.